Welcome back to 59 Minutes. If you're just joining us, I am with two students from the University of Nairobi, Bernard Kipkoech and Duncan Kipkurui. We are discussing matters to do with students and governance. And they tell me it's the University of Nairobi, isn't it?
It's true.
It's not just University of Nairobi.
Yeah, it is.
The only university you said that is not?
Named after a dead person.
Named after a dead person.
Of course, there are some, but...
The only national one.
The national one, yeah.
The best one is in Eastern Central Africa.
Eastern Central Africa.
Now, you said that you are studying chemistry?
Yeah, and mathematics.
And mathematics. Mm. And I asked with a view to doing what?
I want to be a teacher.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Of course, you are training to be a teacher. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you guys had a thought about the diversification of education. Tell me about that before I come back to the political angle.
Let me start on diversification of education.
Yes.
We've actually seen, if you go to any campus that is offering education courses, you'll find that a large percentage of students in that campus, they are Kalenjins, because there is need to diversify our education. The Great Rift, you complete your Form 4 and your parents advise you that the only course you can do is education. Why do commerce? Why do procurement? Who will hire you? Where will you find employment? So they've been advising us to take education. We don't have lawyers. Let us even look at our Senate. How many lawyers do we have in the Senate from the Great Rift? They're accountable. Look at doctors, other courses. We have few people there. But in education, we have quite a number or large number of Kalenjins doing education. It is because of the advice that we get from our parents. They are telling us that you have to do education. And this thing, we have to change that. We have to change this notion of our parents advising us that let us do education, because that is where you'll find employment. Very easy. You don't struggle. I remember when I completed my Form 4, my father told me that the only course you can do is education, because look at the way those teachers are eating. They have long holidays. They are free. They are home every now and then. So, but I wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
I couldn't be because of the advice my parents are giving you. So we also need to call our leaders that they should help us a lot in this.
To sensitize this.
Yeah, to sensitize our parents on this.
But you seem quite happy that you want to be a teacher. And I think it's quite a noble profession.
Yes.
Even Jesus was a teacher, but...
we are not disappointed
yes.
that we have a large number. But it is a concern that if we concentrate much on this profession of education only, we may end up losing very important people in our community. Because we also need leaders, lawyers, we also need doctors for that balance. But the major thing that is bringing us to education is our level of need and poverty. You find that these students who come to do the education courses are students from humble families. Some of us had a lot of marks, high grades, which could allow us pursue medicine, pursue engineering. But these are demanding courses. And you find that in the university, I depend on myself for my fees, for my accommodation, for my means. Leaders, we have leaders currently who are scholars. Look at the governor, His Excellency Dr. Barchok. Look at the senator, His Excellency Dr. Christopher Langat. Look at the governor, His Excellency Professor Chepkwony. These are the people who should be in the forefront, taking these issues of education, because it is a concern that we've said that all the students...
Professor Kamar.
Yes, they have Professor Kamar, look at them. But they are not, why are they blind on this issue? Are we okay with all the students coming to education? We have used this organization of Kalenjin to do a research. And you find that in every 25 students, because in every polling station from where I come from, we have about 25 students from various universities. Among these 25, only 5 go for different courses. The 20 go for education. Why? These people have to be assisted by the leaders. Because if I want to go to law, I will not spend time elsewhere. When I'm doing law, I must concentrate on my studies. I can't do the PTA to get money to come and sponsor myself for food or for any other purpose. So we need support from our leaders. This should be the conversation. Even as we discuss BBI, even as we discuss whatever else, the politics, we have also to look at the affairs. Because, yes, who will substitute Murkomen in the law fraternity? If all of us go to education.
And those are good questions. Do you think the CBC system is going to change that?
Yeah, to some extent, because this one you'll only do or you'll measure in the areas where you think you are best fit. Yeah, so I think this will also help us diversify that.
We expect that maybe, yeah. Because those of us who went through 844, I think the general feeling is that we learnt a lot of things, but we specialized in nothing, really.
You have to iron out where the problem is for you to get a solution.
Yes.
First of all, you can't convince me that the CBC will help this, because what is the objective of coming to university? From the village, it is go to university, study this to get a job. CBC will come on the same way, because the parents will be centered on the job opportunities. So even with CBC,
but it was meant to, initially the educational system was meant to be that you learn. I think those days when they sent people out in the 60s, even abroad, and they had those flyouts, it was to send you out, the tomboy ones, go learn something, come back and plug into the community somewhere.
But so it wasn't. It is not.
We are now thinking so individually. You know, our family will think about how we're going to get our son to bring money so we can benefit as a family. But I think the community thinking has disappeared. Is that the case? Yeah.
Well, what I can say personally is, what is the goal of education? It's not to get jobs. Even when you graduate from the university, you're not being told, go look for a job. You have power to read. Okay? So get knowledge.
All the labatines.
Yes.
As the president used to say.
Go acquire knowledge. If that sticks in the mind of our parents and of our leaders, then we are going to change this narrative of everybody go do education. We are not saying education is bad, but we also say we need other people in the society.
Or to some extent, if they can't help you do education, they'll tell you, join the army. We are servicemen. So you do education or you join the army.
You young men don't want to join the army?
No, if I don't want to join there, you sit with forces.
Gentlemen. All right, let me switch gears, because we only have 20 minutes and we have to cover some politics, because you guys are in governance and you say you have an eye on national leadership, right?
Yeah.
So, do you follow, and I'm sure you do, matters to do with the burning question right now, which is the BBI? And where do you think you as youth are factored in or not?
Let me start. I think for BBI, I don't think it is of any help to any youth in this country. First of all, considering that it is not even a priority at the moment. It is not a priority. We have this corona thing. So BBI is not a priority. And then to the contents of the BBI, you know, BBI, as we are teachers, science teachers actually, and we are driven by objective. So if you have a problem and you can't solve that problem, then what is the need of having the whole thing of BBI? That BBI was based on, or it is actually, it was given birth to by handshake. And it had 9-point agenda. One of them was divisive election. BBI is raising a lot of questions, but it does not seem to offer solution to any of them.
I should have asked in the beginning, because you guys are students, and they say that, you know, in Kenya, a lot of Kenyans don't read. They wait for some politicians to tell them how to vote a document or so. As students, did you read the documents?
Yes, we were the first one to read. In fact, I got from the blogspot of, I don't know if it's Lord Abraham, the first day that was. So I got it from there, then we read. So first of all, even we were reading some other documents that was come. That tells you how much we are agitating to read this thing.
Yeah.
So we read, we understand.
Because a lot of the issues discussed there are always targeted towards the youth. They say they want to, you know, give the youth a tax holiday
Let me come to that.
when you are
Now-
starting businesses. I thought that would be a great thing for you
No,
guys.
let me come to that.
Yes.
This issue of the tax holiday, the 4-year grace period for help loan, all this, I'll call them, they are Trojan horse or some sort of a decoy to actually lure the youths into propping BBI. Because how can you give a youth a 7-year tax holiday? How many of the youths can start a business and run it? They are unemployed, they are out there. This thing of the 4-year grace period on help, how sure are they that by the end of 4 years, they are going to find employment? All these are decoys. They are not going to find employment at the end of 4 years. So what they should have addressed the most is on the issue of unemployment. That is actually, it is stinking to the high heavens among the youths.
Yeah.
A certain research was conducted, and they found out that 75% of the youths, they are unemployed. How are you going to give them a 7-year tax holiday?
There is a
It
narrative
doesn't.
pushed by governments generally that says, and not just this government, many governments around the world, that governments are supposed to provide an enabling environment for employment to flourish. That they're not generally supposed to give jobs. There seems to be a misconception that government must sit down and hand jobs and call people and say, we're hiring you tomorrow, you chukua barua, you chukua barua. All of us cannot work in government. Don't you guys
Let me respond to that.
feel the same way?
And
You know,
in the same manner, first of all, let me give my own personal view of BBI.
yes.
My friend here said it's not a priority. I don't want to use that term, but I want to say it is a wrong document. And BBI in the mind of these proponents is different from what we have in the paper. The documents speak other things. As he has said, it was driven by the 9-point agenda.
Yes.
And we've said we are science students, and we go by the objectives. Objective number 1 was inclusivity. How is we now go to the document and see how is it addressing the question of inclusivity.
Yes.
If it doesn't, then it is useless. Don't force on the people. And this is where students should take part to explain this thing to the community where they come from. Because if we are saying we have to solve this issue of inclusivity, and in the document you don't have any clause that, then in fact it is even more divisive and more much of something of a political what we call profiling. Now, with the issue of youth, as he has said, there is no way the government can guarantee 7-year tax holiday for a loan which we will not take. How many youth are eligible for a loan? A simple question. You cannot be eligible for a loan when you are not employed. You cannot be eligible for a loan to start a business. Doesn't happen like that. I have never seen.
You have to have some
Otherwise,
sort of
I will not have come to the university to do what? Because I will take a loan, start my business. So it is a fallacy. Just trying to lure the youth. Look at the help. 4-year grace period. That is not a priority to us. We have a lot of penalties in help.
What would you have liked to have
Waive
seen
the penalties
happen?
for everybody.
Yes.
Interest-free help loan. Increase the amount, because it's very useless to give me 30,000 for a whole year.
Sure.
So just raise this amount.
What's
Remove
the
interest.
average fee like for university students for 1 year?
35. That is the average. For you to get 60, you must put a lot of
What's the
debts.
average fee like for a university student? What they need to spend in a year for fees?
For fees, in the University of Nairobi, we pay the cheapest, 26 per year.
26,000.
But other universities even goes up to 40, 50 something. So the help loan itself doesn't even gather for fees. Then you've not done the accommodation. You've not eaten anything. So the issue is, if BBI would address this issue, like we have to raise the amount, and then we also have to remove the interest, because we are being charged 4% per annum for that loan. And then also, if you default for a year after graduation, you start penalties.
Yeah.
You will pay this loan until you die.
Unawekwa CRB?
And I'm not sure, but for you to be employed, they need that clearance certificate.
Yeah, so
from the help.
definitely, yeah, it becomes.
You won't be employed, and then you've been given penalties. They want you to pay. How do you pay? That was the thing, if BBI was to be thought well, if the students would have been contacted, then that is what we would say. And we would say now BBI is good for us. But for now, we don't have anything to enjoy.
You don't have anything to enjoy. There is another narrative also making the rounds, and it's the one about Wheelbarrownomics. Do you guys subscribe to it? Have you heard of it? Do you know what it is, and what's your understanding? Those are many questions in one, but I think you can answer all of them. You're tough students.
I think personally I do, because Wheelbarrownomics, or that thing even from where we come from our neighborhood, back at home, that a wheelbarrow is a sign of humility. You see, it's a sign of humility. Now, and to the Wheelbarrownomics, this actually, the Wheelbarrownomics, or this issue of the Hustler Nation, the Wheelbarrownomics, it is not a new thing in Kenya. We've had that during the time of, you've heard of this, the Maskini movement by J.M. Kariuki.
Yes.
He actually started that.
Yes.
Where
he said this was a country of 10 million beggars.
Yeah, he was actually accusing our...
And 10 billionaires.
And 10 billionaires. So he went around the country distributing these things, the jempes, the pangas, hoes. Those were the things that were necessary at the time. He gave it to the people. Now, on this issue of Wheelbarrownomics, I think you are trying to empower people. You are empowering them. Like these fruit vendors. These people are selling ice cream, people pulling mukokotenis. I think they...
Some people say that it is watering down, and I haven't gotten your thoughts about it, but let me ask you that first before I
watering down?
That it's watering down the whole concept of going to school and going to university and finishing, and that it tends to pour water on it, in that if you could get a wheelbarrow, why go to university?
Now, if these people were given the wheelbarrows, most of them, they are no longer in school. Quite a number of them. And which, actually, let me ask you a question. Which kind of a job will you give to someone who dropped out in class 5? Because of the reasons which we may not know. But which kind of a job will you give him? Of course, you may fail to find that. So you empower what he's doing. If he's selling fruits, empower him so that he can benefit from that.
What I can say about the wheelbarrow movement, I cannot take the wheelbarrow movement from just face value. I have to take from its agenda. If we talk about wheelbarrow, you must talk about bottom-up economy. That these people are, and as I said, I'm not going to take it from the face value. So what I am thinking when you say about wheelbarrow, it is a sign of humility, as you've said. Once I was in primary school, kindergarten, preschool, now I'm in university. It means even education, this education, you had to start from somewhere. It is in the same way. Wheelbarrow is not just about pushing that thing. It is about, yes, we have a lot of space when it comes to business, but where do we start from? At least we have to have somewhere where we can begin. And it doesn't mean when you've been given wheelbarrow. Let me ask you something. Media, you always focus on things that are running in an abnormal way. Sorry, but a few years ago, yes, you had a student, a former student, a graduate of the greatest university in East and Central Africa, and the greatest university in Kenya. That is the University of Nairobi.
No and that one.
A student of actuarial science, first class honors. He was pulling a mkokoteni. What does that tell you? These people don't have a job to do. And the fact that I start pulling mkokoteni doesn't mean it rubbishes the fact I went to school. Maybe I went to school to know how to manage my 20 shillings when I sell my water there. So it means that it is a story of empowerment. These people who are driving this thing are just telling us that if we can do this, that it means we can start from somewhere. Yeah. And for every successful business, it has to start from
young people in the university.
Yes.
It does. Like I say that quite a large number of these students, they're actually hustlers. They subscribe to that because we interact with them most of the time. You know, these people, actually, the students, they have a lot of problems. That is why we would refer to them as hustlers.
Yeah.
Some of them, they go hungry for days.
Yeah. Aren't you guys worried? You know, successive elections have always brought about the issue of young people to the fore. It's not the first time that young people seem to be in the center of an election, battle between people. It's happened before in 92, it happened in 97. We had the YK in 92. Yeah. In 97, we had those guys who were, agitating for the mergers, and the young Turks were there. Yeah. And then in 2002, we had the push, of course, the clamor for the Rainbow Coalition, largely driven by young people. And of course, young people being the majority of the voters who go there. In 2007, it is young people who went to war. It wasn't the oldest ones. It is the young people who are used to loot, to burn, to maim and kill each other. In 2013, young people again were at the center of tumetoka analog to digital, that war. And then we had 2017, and here we are. Again, young people have always been at the forefront. But successively, young people have been disappointed at every election turn, because it seems every time the politicians promise something, they tend to not deliver after they have made their promises and gotten into power. How sure are you guys that this is not one of those things again going forward? Or are you just, keeping hope alive? And what would happen if, because at the turn of 2022, you guys will be edging towards not being young. Maybe you'll still be young, perhaps you'll have a few more years, there'll be some other young people behind you agitating also. How sure are you that you're being used, you're not being misused as pawns in a chess game involving bigger players who have no interest in what happens to you?
Let me start. This thing, you've actually said it so well, that in the past the youths have been used by these politicians for their own gain. And then at the end of it, the youths don't benefit. They are damned. And as student leaders, I think we've taken a stand as early as possible that we need to make a stand as the student leaders and then give way to the rest of the students, that we are no longer going to be used by these politicians for them to score some kind of cheap political points. So what we are advocating for is that, like for the issue of BBI, a large number of the youths now and majorly students, you'll find that 75% they oppose it, despite all these things I termed as Trojan horses, like the 7-year tax holiday, the grace period, the youth commission. Even you find that they call it the youth commission, but the people who are working there, they are of your age, most of them. And then they call it the youth commission.
That's an attack on my age, but I will
it is not an attack.
But I will let it slide. I will let it slide today. Yeah.
So they are telling us
because I no longer fall in the youth bucket. That's true.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So you find that the people who are leading us, they are telling us it is a youth commission.
Yes.
But the people who are leading, they are old people.
Yeah.
Then you wonder, where are the
youths?
Where are the youths?
There was
octogenarians.
a 92-year-old.
A 92-year-old. And then even when you go to our counties, the people who are there leading all these things, sports, they are supposed to be people who are exuberant with a lot of energy, and these are the youths. But you find the people who are leading, they are old men. So we have taken a stand as the students that going forward, we are not going to allow these politicians to use us for them to score some cheap points.
Maybe I can add something with that.
Yes.
As I told you, where I come from, majority of people are comrades. And we have said we are going to take a stand. We are declaring our stand as early as possible as comrades. And if need be, we shall have our own candidates, because some people are fresh graduates. We have to put them somewhere. And the issue that you said about comrades or youth being used as political tools or to fight, that will not happen as we watch this time, especially in Rift Valley. Because we have started a movement, a very robust movement, to discuss our position. And when we are on this discussion table, we are able to tell these people, no, if that is the direction, we are not going to take. And we are starting with misrepresentation of you. What we have said is true. You will find the people of your age running comfortably seated on a chair, purporting to have the youth affairs at the heart. How?
Yeah.
We have youth.
And buying your votes for 1,000 books.
Now we will eat that 1,000, but we cannot vote for them this time. No. So
You will not deny.
we will not deny. Comrades are broke. That is the language of comrades. And,
So this time around, we are going to cook their goose.
Comrades.
We shall cook it.
and
Yeah.
to just tell you what we are doing on that.
Yeah.
We are just making sure that Rift Valley is peaceful as far as youth and election is
Yeah,
concerned.
that's good.
So we have this coming mega meeting for all the student leaders from the Rift Valley that we are having next month. So this is where we discuss and we tell them, this is where what we want. This is where we want to go as youth. And of course, we will be liaising with these leaders, these political leaders.
Have you set a date for it and where?
We've set a month for it. Not a date, because you have to consider a lot of things.
You're still
exams
consulting.
Yeah, we are still consulting. The only problem is that the leadership of the day do not want to listen to us. They don't recognize student leaders.
Well, I'm pretty sure you can make them listen.
Oh, we are hoping
Your comrades.
that the way we
Done.
can meet
I
Your
them.
creative guys.
Let me help my brother.
Squeezy, unajua, in our days you could not reach them. Squeezy hata tweet wanasoma.
So
You guys
they
can reach them better than we can.
Maybe they read
They
for the
read, but they
media.
don't respond. Like, for example, we've had a lot of burning issues about students from our region, the Great Rift. We have students who go angry, they don't have that ability to pay fees. So we reach out to these leaders, try to solicit for funds from them, but they don't respond to us. We've since written a lot of emails, texts to these people. Some of them they don't even read, they ignore us. And like I think we actually have to mention some of them, like you've heard that you have Dr. Christopher Langat, the senator for Bomet. He's actually, or he was a lecturer. Barchok himself, the governor for Bomet, he was a lecturer, Chuka University. Now that he is in the inner sanctums of power, he doesn't want to respond or address the needs of the students. We don't know what is happening with this.
I'm sure they'll be back during the elections.
No, but we are not going
That
to
is
give
when
them
we
another
have
chance.
also our say.
Yeah.
Because we have the bargaining power.
Kuna mahali mutakutana.
Yes, kuna mahali tutakutana. But we are telling these people, listen to us
They should
when
listen
we
to
still
us.
have time to talk. Because we will have time where we can. The only person
When
who
the door
listens
for
to us-
dialogue is still open.
And also we have to say those who listen to us. The only person who listen to us very much keenly is Mheshimiwa Ngeno.
Joanna Ngeno,
Of
actually.
Emurua Diki.
Ngong.
That one listens. If you tell him we have this, he also listens. I don't know why, but maybe it's his unique way of. But we have written to Barchok, His Excellency the Governor. Look at Dr. Christopher. He is very renowned person for making motivational speeches to students.
To go to university.
To go to university. Now we are in university, Professor. I wish, Doctor, I wish you would watch us. We are in university. We are telling you, let us address these things. Let us cry together because, yes, he doesn't have a bursary kit to run. But when he cry with us, these other people will listen. So we appeal to them. Listen to these leaders. Don't allow our students to come and be wasted in the University of Eldoret or University of Nairobi. Just because you don't listen to us. We have told them there are students who
sure
go even to that point of almost begging the
Yeah.
university. And we have to address this. So let them listen to
You
us.
do. We are out of time, but it's good you have ended up on the appeal. I'm pretty sure they have heard you. I will, of course, be calling and...
They should actually listen to us because when we were coming here,
Yes.
a lot of students were pushing us. Even the texts I'm receiving now, they are telling me, please tell these leaders to listen to us.
listen to you guys.
They are ailing. Those students are suffering. But the leaders, they just want to use us as bloggers, some voting merchants during election. But they won't listen to us now in times of our need.
Yeah.
They have to start that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I'll do
They
you guys
should.
one better. I will look for them and see whether we can do a joint forum.
Let them come.
Where we can chat with students right there
We will
and see what we can do.
Yes.
See, what's up?
Iko sawa.
Thank you for coming, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah?
Allow me to make one announcement.
Yeah, 10 seconds, my guy. We are about time.
Yes. To all students who may have issues, different issues, and we have this leadership forum from the Rift Valley. We would like you to air your issues freely through the WhatsApp number that we are going to give you. And to all the student leaders, we are planning for your meeting. We will meet in Nairobi one of these fine days next month. So we invite all of you from college to university. As long as you are a student leader, we have to discuss things in a common way. Thank you very much. I'll give you the WhatsApp number so that you can reach us whenever you have an issue. And there are students who have been expelled, student leaders from Karatina University and from KEMU, Kenya Methodist University. We request our leaders to intervene because they have been expelled in an unfair manner and they have not been given a hearing for their justice.
I hear you.
So we will request those.
What's the number?
0758 595 315. That is the WhatsApp number.
All right, so that's 0758 595 315. Correct? WhatsApp, give your issues. Bernard Kipkoech, Duncan Kipkurui, students from the University of Nairobi, from the University of Nairobi. Yeah, very
Do not
engaging.
insult the mother university.
Very engaging discussion. Now you have insulted my age, Nini.
No,
That's 59 minutes for today. See you tomorrow. Stand by for a loss coming up. Have a good day.